Hello everybody, it's Sylvie. Welcome back. I hope you're doing good. Today we're doing a kind of tarot maths. I don't know, this is hopefully a fun one. This is just something I wanted to play with some cards, and this idea was prompted by my soul reading video that I did a while back. And I remember I was looking at the cards that I pulled for that reading, and I noted that the Wheel and the King of Wands together were giving me like Chariot vibes. And so that all marinated away in my brain for a little while, and also triggered the memory of something else that I have heard or read or seen, the idea of condensing the tarot down as a bit of an exercise, like thought experiment. So like, given how self-referential the tarot is and how each card can like mean lots of different things, they're not strictly exclusive to one card. So you can play around with like reducing the 78 cards by reducing like the duplicate meanings. So for instance, I might say that the Four of Wands and the Three of Cups are both primarily about celebrating the here and now. So I would remove one of those for this thought experiment, thus simplifying down the deck. Of course, each card has multiple meanings and different nuances, but like, you get the idea for the purpose. I don't exactly remember where I first came across this, but I think it's really interesting. So if you've heard it or done this before, please let me know, because I think it's really cool. But anyhow, that combined with my like Wheel plus King of Wands equals the Chariot moment had me thinking about the idea of, I guess, tarot maths, because I can't think of another term for it. There probably is a term and I'm just not thinking of it, but anyhow. So if we think about the exercise of like tarot simplification and like condensing down the 78 cards as like tarot subtraction, I want to do some tarot addition like I found myself doing with the Wheel and the King of Wands in that soul reading. So I have no idea how this is going to work or how interesting it may or may not be to watch, but I think it's a cool idea. And I think it really plays to some of the strengths of the tarot as being like very self-referential and multifaceted. So I've got some decks. I'm not sure exactly who I'm going to use. I have a Rider-Waite, which I think I might leave to one side. I've got the Navigators and the Mystic Sea, because this has keywords and I think that could be fun. And then I have my two newest decks that I'm kind of obsessed with. So we've got the Goddess of Love Tarot and the Enchanted Förhäxa. I very recently did a second impressions video on this one, and I have just today filmed a video on the Enchanted Förhäxa, and I'm not sure what order this is going up in. So this will either be my most recent or my next video. So I'm going to give them a shuffle. I'm going to pull two cards and see what elements of those I can combine to describe another card in the tarot. So I guess wish me luck. I think I'm going to grab this one. Oh, the box on this is so stiff. Okay, so this is MJ Culline's newest deck. I just filmed my like flip through first impressions and I thought the artwork was really gorgeous. So it's out and I want to play with my new shiny thing, you know? I also thought it would be interesting to use, like I've put this to one side, my Rider-Waite Smith. I thought it would be interesting to use decks that have like non-traditional depictions. So here we go. We have the Two of Water. I swear I shuffled this. This was right on the top a second ago. And the Four of Air. Okay, interesting. So the Two of Water being about two people coming together to begin or intensify a new relationship, and the Four of Air being about rest and recuperation. But I feel like this Four of Air in particular, should I zoom us in a smidge? I feel like this, so in case it's not obvious, water is cups and air is swords for the purposes of this deck. And in this artwork in particular, we have these like snake skins that are very much giving me like a renewal and the idea of rest as renewal. And I feel like there's a sense of newness in both of these cards, but not just newness. Like this is a relationship transforming into something new, and this is rest, allowing you to kind of renew. So what else has renewal in the tarot? Obviously there's like death is transformation. I always think of judgment as being transformation, but specifically this idea of like not the raise it to the ground kind of renewal, but a building. Maybe, you know what, the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles or the Three of Earth in this suit. I'm going to have already gone past it. And I wonder if the artwork in this deck will work with that, will like speak to that. So the reason I'm thinking Three of Pentacles is because to me, the Three of Pentacles is, you know, it's teamwork, it's collaboration, and it's something being created that is like greater than the sum of its parts, or whatever the phrase is, that I feel like it's not that. So the Three of Earth actually was one of the first ones I flipped through. I'm not used to this deck. What I'm drawing out of these two, the Two of Water and the Four of Air, is that kind of a renewal, kind of an evolution of something that already exists. It's building on something that already exists. And that is the Three of Pentacles, right? The Three of Earth. This one is so cute. So we have our little fairy teaming up with the fox and the raven. Like, how cute is that? How nice is that? But yeah, the Three of Pentacles I see as three people working together, sharing skills, building something together that they could not necessarily each build on their own. So it's like elevating the skills they already have by working together. So I think I'm gonna try this with the Goddess of Love. This is really fun with these new decks that I've got, because I'm not super used to them. So it's a nice way to like get to know the deck a little bit. Okay, we'll give her a shuffle. This one, thankfully, is much easier to shuffle than the Förhäxa. I'm just now realizing that this one is a little bit pippish in the minors, so this might be trickier, because I think having the visual cues is definitely really helpful. Okay, so we have the Six of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles, which I've decided I'm going to swap that out because I've just looked at the Three of Pentacles. Okay, and the Witch of Cups, and the Witch is the Knight. Oh, this feels tricky. Why did I do this? This is hard. Okay, so Six of Pentacles being about that give and take, that reciprocity that can go wrong, and the Witch of Cups, or Knight of Cups as it usually is, I feel like also, okay, my brain is working faster than my words. I think imbalance is the key here, because the Six of Pentacles, I've said this 100 times, but my gripe with a lot of Six of Pentacles representations is that they are just depicting the sharing or the charity aspect of the Six of Pentacles, whereas it's a balance that can very easily be imbalanced, or it's scales that are not static. Like there's a constant give and take. Sometimes you're the figure who is being generous, sometimes you're the figure who needs help, and in that dynamic there is the potential for exploitation, there's the potential for one person to abuse their power. So imbalance being the word there that I'm reaching for. And then in the Witch of Cups or the Knight of Cups, I also like how they're visually mirroring each other here with these shapes, with the roses and the pentacles, and then the swirl of the rose and the swirl of the ammonite. Anyhow, interrupting myself once more. So the Knight of Cups, I feel like all of the knights, because they have that fire, they're questing and they're maybe not thinking things through. Right, except the Knight of Pentacles, because that's what he's good at. But it's not tempered, right? Ooh, tempered, temperance. Temperance is like the opposite of what these two combine to make. But anyhow, I feel like the Knight of Cups is somebody who is following their heart, following their emotions, and that can be to their detriment, and it can also hurt other people in the process. Like if you think of the kind of slightly cliched picture of the romantic who is following their heart and going after the person that they want, well, what happens when they have a change of heart? It's leaving somebody brokenhearted. I've said the word heart too many times and it's lost all meaning, but there's like an imbalance there as well. So I'm thinking, I feel like temperance is the inverse of what I'm picking up on here. I'm thinking, what represents that imbalance? Like my initial thought is obviously the devil, but I don't think that's quite what I mean. So the imbalance of it's a selfishness as well is what I'm picking up on there. Maybe I am thinking of the devil. Well, the devil is more being beholden to something rather than being selfish. I suppose the Seven of Wands or the Seven of Swords could work, because that's not my preferred reading, my preferred interpretation of the Seven of Swords, but I know it is a common one, and that it is what it can mean, is somebody who is selfish, who is looking out for themselves to the detriment of others. Yeah, I think that's what I go with. I think the Seven of Swords. Do you know what? I think visually this is quite cool because I feel like we have these shapes that I pointed out, right? And these two are like this. I'm fully reaching here, I'm aware. I'm having fun. So these are these like open shapes, and then the swords cross over to like close this little loop. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Seven of Swords, that imbalance, that like selfishness, that element of greed there. I know that the traditional interpretation is more somebody who is lying or is stealing, and that can have more complex reasons than just being selfish and greedy. But you know, that can certainly explain it. Okay, cool. Right, I'm going to do one more with the Navigators Tarot of the Mystic Sea, because this has keywords which I think will be interesting. I have not worked with this deck yet. This actually I've had for just as long as I had the Goddess of Love, because I gave myself some birthday presents. So I opened them on the same day, but I just haven't worked with this one yet because there is only so much time in the day, you know? Okay, so we've got the Three of Wands, cohesion, and the Nine of Swords, desperation. Okay, those really don't seem to go together. Okay, cohesion and desperation do seem like very opposing forces. I'm thinking the Three of Wands being about sending your plans off into the world and hoping that they come back, and the Nine of Swords being about being trapped in, or feeling trapped in your fears, feeling beholden to your fears. Do you know what? I kind of want to say the moon, but I'm not entirely sure why I want to say that. I'm thinking the anxiety of, no, not the moon. The anxiety of having things be out of your hands with the Three of Wands. Like that's definitely got to be a part of it. Like you've made the plans, you've done all you can, you've sent everything out into the world, and you've got to hope that it's successful. Like there is a limit to what you can do to ensure that success. And then obviously the Nine of Wands is full of anxiety, but desperation is such a good word for the Nine of Swords as well. Did I say Nine of Wands? The Nine of Swords is full of anxiety, and I'm trying to decide if I think it's all external, all internal, if there's a similar source to that anxiety, because I love that I'm fully ignoring the keywords, by the way. I'm just like, yeah, I can't make those make sense together. But yeah, things being out of your hands, things being out of your control. The Hanged Man, I like the Hanged Man for this. So I'm thinking, because the Hanged Man feels like a middle ground between that. Because on the one hand, the Hanged Man is about is being in a position of discomfort that is not your choice. Somebody has put you there and you've kind of just got to sit with it, whether you like it or not. And that feels like the kind of anxiety of waiting for your plans to hopefully be successful. And then I think also the Hanged Man is that particular energy of just like chilling in that discomfort is sometimes the worst thing about the Nine of Swords. And that's what feels so desperate, is because you can't do anything. Like, you know, if you think of times when you've been unable to sleep, you've been kept up all night with your fears, like there's very rarely anything you can do in that moment to make yourself feel better. Either your fears are like unfounded and it's anxiety because the brain likes to make you anxious about things, or maybe it is a fear of something that could happen, but there's very rarely anything you can do at like 2 a.m. to solve that problem. So again, that's feeling quite Hanged Man to me, if I ever find him. And I'm interested to see what the keyword is for the Hanged Man as well. Suspension. It's because he's not called the Hangman, he's called Suspension, and the keyword there is inversion. Inversion as a place between cohesion and desperation. If I was more of a poetic soul, I'm sure I could make that sound good, but I am not. Yeah. Okay, I like that. This, I think I'm going to leave this here because I could go on. But frankly, my dinner's in the oven and I'm hungry. So we're going to leave this here. This was really fun. This is something I think I want to start doing. I should have filmed this video first, because the last video I filmed is getting to know the Enchanted Förhäxa and specifically what I do with a new deck. This, I think, is definitely a fun exercise that I should do with a new deck. Okay, what terrible timing, because my timer has just gone off. I've had to go get my food out the oven, so I'm going to wrap this one up quick. What was I saying? This, I think, is a very fun activity to do with a new deck. I have really, you know, all of these decks are new to me. The Goddess of Love I have been using for a couple of weeks and I can't seem to put it down, but like it's still a relatively new deck, and the other two I have truly barely looked at. So this was really fun. This is definitely an exercise I'm going to keep in my back pocket for when I want to play with my cards but don't want to do a reading. So yeah, as you can probably tell, and I know I've mentioned it before, I'm a big proponent of the tarot as a system of meaning rather than like messages from the divine or predictive reading, or like it's a series of for me it's a series of symbols, and that's how I read it. And I think this kind of experiment really is cool to like play with my understanding of that structure and that framework and help like strengthen some of those connections and come up with some new ones. I feel like I'm basically cross-referencing the tarot now that I think about it. That's what this is. This is an exercise in like cross-referencing the meanings in the tarot. So yeah, and like I say, this was really fun with new decks, and I think, yeah, it helps to spark some like intuitive personal interpretations right off the bat, and I think it's something I'm going to keep playing with. So yeah, I think this is cool. I'm glad I did this. I hope you found this interesting. I'd love to like hear what you think, or see anybody else try this and see what they come up with. I think that would be really cool. So if anybody wants to do this, please tag me so I can see. But yeah, aside from that, I am going to let you go. Thank you so much for watching and for spending some time with me. I'm going to go eat my dinner before it gets cold. Yeah, go play with your decks, have some fun. Give this a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.